This is our second rotary one, but it started back in the 1970s, but I'm not going to go the whole historical chat about it. So where we gather, it's the, so this Sunday, the kick-off time is 9 o'clock. Rafts will be arriving from any time after 7:30. Some may arrive the night before. We haven't actually heard yet, so I don't know. Yeah, all the way down the river, which you know. Has anyone here not been involved with the raft race at all? Yeah. A few. All right. Okay. I hope you. So I'm talking to a mixed audience. So it's about 9 miles, 13 kilometres. We've got the 3 different weirs: the Buffalo Steel, Kilby Weir, Stourton about halfway, then Totnes towards the. Am I giving?
Right.
Totnes towards the end. There's a lot of boulders and things along the way as well. There's a tree down below River Bridge now, which we'll discuss as well. All right. We're supporting 4 charities this year, mainly local charities really. But these are, we've got your representatives from all of those tonight. So that is quite a good map, which shows you quite well. We'll go on to it more in detail later. As I said, arriving at 7:30, there's going to be food there. There's going to be, people should do breakfast and buy there for everyone. There's going to be someone there to blow up the tyres. This isn't just about, big thing is not just about me talking at you really. I really want input from, particularly the canoe club, the divers, the St John, all the rescue people really. So when we come along in a minute, it's going to be a discussion rather than just me talking, which will be much more beneficial really. The big point, I suppose, is actually if they're not at 4 o'clock, if they haven't got to the Totnes where they can be pulled out there. From the point of view of checkpoints and everyone else, we can actually pull anyone out at any stage. If someone's misbehaving, or if someone, we think someone actually looks, exhausted, hypothermic, Matthew, tired, then actually checkpoints things can actually pull them out. We'll probably come on to that later as well, really. And then they've got 2 hours. They've got 2 hours to get down from Totnes to the end, which is an awful long time actually. Tides going out. So it takes us to the start, really.
Hello, I was just asked to cover the start. So Stephen Bottomley and I, Steve's there, hello, and Martin, and also another friend of Dan's offered to help. So they'll be covering the start with me. And so just to point out what will be happening actually as they turn up is anyone coming from Totnes and coming up from Plymouth will need to follow on up to the approach of the Pear Tree Junction up at Ashburton. And this is so if you come down here, you can see that the vehicle entrance is just here, and it makes it much easier for them to be getting in because this is a very tight corner in here. So what we're going to do is place the 4 of us and any extras if we've got them, just where the arrow is at the top so that people can see one of us in a high-vis jacket as they come down that road, know that they'll need to start slowing down. We'll have a number of signs on the road here so that when they get just where the vehicle entrance is, they'll have a couple of marshals pointing them to come in. They will then come through 2 gates here, one at the top and one just down here, and say Steve and I will be placed here, Martin and Dan will be placed out on the road. And then we will just need to coordinate incoming vehicles, and as people come in, they will be able to drive past the registration red gazebo and collect the captain's wristbands as they register, and offload from their trailers their rafts here at the raft assembly and queue lines, go round into the car park here, and if they have family and friends that want to bring along to watch the raft launch, then they will start going down through the queues here and then launch their rafts into the river here. And then there's a nice current which just lets them start there nicely. So we'll just be keeping an eye here, anybody who does want to go out, we've got to be sure that no one's trying to come in, because that is the entrance and the exit. But if we've got enough people to cover that, which we believe we have, and enough signage, then we don't envisage any difficulties with that initial start in the field there. So I think that's probably covered most of what I wanted to say.
Are you aware of the roadworks on?
Yeah, it's a good point. You can only come along here. You can't come back out this way. It's been made very clear to the participants, and I was just discussing with David that it might be worth another phone call, just to remind people that they do have to come in from this approach, otherwise it could potentially cause some quite massive bottlenecks. If you do come in this way, even trying to turn at the top end there isn't really a very good area. So if anybody does ask, please make sure they're coming in from that top end approach to make it easier for everybody. Sorry?
Yeah, they can.
They can, but
Yeah.
Get up there,
From Totnes is all right. Yeah.
No, I did it today. If you're going to Totnes, you can't get on it. If you're coming down the A38, you want to go to Totnes,
Yeah.
you can't do it. You must come off at Pear Tree, go over the top, and come down where you are indicated with those arrows show you.
yeah, there is a possibility if you came in here that you could come back out and turn round
You
and
could,
go on up to get back out to come back to
Well, there are
Totnes.
signs.
yeah, but anyone who's coming from up country or anywhere beyond Ashford, must come off at Pear Tree.
Yeah.
Back through on the Buckle
It's signposted coming in from the north, Dean and Buckfast Lane. And that's the turning you go off on, which is Tom saying, you go over
Yeah.
the bridge. There by Pear Tree, you said, Tom, in the
Yeah,
Pear Tree area.
Pear Tree.
And then you come down this road, it's pretty straightforward.
But the instructions that have been
Yeah.
sent out to all participants by David and Colin
As for
make
coming
it
from-
very clear how they need to get
Coming in
in.
from Totnes or coming up from Plymouth, it's a piece of cake. You just go over the flyover from Totnes and follow the sign to, Buckfast Lane. And you turn off right and come into the
Yeah.
field.
Like I said, we can make follow-up phone calls just before, and we can even go out and just double-check that there haven't been any changes. Just
But it's all very well
But
signposted.
as long as they come in the way they've been asked to do so.
Yeah, well, that means I'll have to go down the A38 to Pear Tree.
Yeah, they need to be continuing
You go over
on
the
to the
bridge,
next
go down the
Ashburn
next
Junction
road.
and coming off there. So once they get into here, and as long as we can get them quickly off the road, we don't necessarily have all of them arriving exactly at the same time. So this all should be okay.
Just a small comment,
Yeah.
I probably won't be a bother on Sunday morning, but because all the Totnes traffic from the A38 has to come through Pear Tree, it's quite busy there. I don't suppose it will be on Sunday morning, but now, during the week, it's a very busy road.
Yeah, no, we're very conscious that we're going to be needing to make sure that traffic can keep moving so that it isn't going to end up being backed up down here and up the top end there. So, we went, Stephen and I went and had a good look at all of this and how it might work today. So, fingers crossed, we're not going to have any problems with traffic control on Sunday.
It actually looks quite confusing when you're there.
Okay, a couple of things. For the Rotarians, there's parking, you probably know there's parking here. Probably a good idea, there's been a bit of discussion about driving down the lane into the field and things. If you actually, if you go in if you can pair up in cars and things like that, and it'll save the parking and go down that lane really. They're going in at 1 minute intervals, unlike last year where they all piled in one fell swoop. That should help ease the problems going into the first weir really. So just a bit about the river. Really, I think good idea. It's extensive notes really in the rules and things on the website. Hopefully, you will have a look at that. So we'll get someone to show it to you. They don't actually have to wear wetsuits. That's a recommendation. They've got to wear life jackets and helmets. We'll be checking the rafts at the start. Right, this is also a map, which we've split it into 5 sections this year. And actually we've got one sector sort of manager, so to speak. So that's to ease communication. So we can talk to 5 people rather than 23 or 4 line. So I think the big issue here is the railway line. You can see it actually starts, you can't really see on there, it actually starts on, I'm talking about the river, everything is, we're talking about the river, we're talking about going down the river, so everything is on the right side or the left side going down. The railway line starts on the right and then crosses over. So you can't get out on the right hand side until after that point. So where the road goes along there, the checkpoints are on the left, 1 and 2. At number 1 there is the actual wheel. When it comes to actual casualties, I'll talk about the wheel there. But the canoe club, the divers, actually, maybe we discuss here actually. It's going to be, we've got a lot of tapes there, and we've got canoe club and the divers. Richard, do you want to talk about the diving sort of?
Yes, we'll have divers at 4 places on the river, which will be the 3 weirs.
Yeah, can we just start with the Kilbury actually?
Yes. So we'll have divers at Kilbury. We'll have about 5 divers there, and we see their job as primarily making sure that rafts at the beginning of the race go over the weir one by one in a safe and orderly manner. We expect that there'll be, a couple of people who are really ready to get going. So managing that will be an issue. So we've got some, I hope, good managers there.
Yeah. So are you going to actually sort of get, I mean, we're not going to have huge numbers by the looks of it, but are you going to get us queued up on the left bank there?
That's the idea. That's our experience from last year.
Yeah.
This year, I think it's even more so.
Yeah.
So I think that's crucial. Given that people at the beginning of the race will be fresh and ready to go down that river, so they'll be quite polished to get going.
Well, the divers are going to have, how many? You're going to have 5 divers scattered, mainly below the wheel.
Which is what we had last year, and that worked very well.
There's an issue there actually. Someone actually had a serious injury there, broken leg, of getting them out from there. I'll come on to that later, really. I think. Canoe club on the Totnes Weir Canoe Club.
Yeah, they're much the same.
Yeah.
We've probably got 4 there, and last year we had 1 or 2 above. And as she said, the idea really is to intercept the rafts and kind of stack them back along the edge of the river.
Yeah.
So that they come down over the wheel one at a time, and we can be a little bit upstream and just pushing into the queue.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can't come at that point.
You mentioned about huge numbers. How many rafts have we got actually booked in at this present time?
Peter's our guru on that, but I think we're less than last year, which was 18 last year. But I think we're expecting more this week. I mean, hopefully we've got similar numbers.
So how many have we got at this point?
Well, 17 now.
We're up to 17.
In that case, hopefully we'll go, hopefully 20, 25.
I would think we're going to get about 25 at this stage.
Yeah. Okay. So then, so the railway, after the railway line crosses over the river, then the actual the checkpoints are on the right side, and there's the actual 3 and 4 there, and then so this RV, the rendezvous point, is actually Beera Farm. So that's our first. Well, actually, there's an RV actually up at. I think it's an RV weird, isn't it? Is it up on that? No. RV on Beera Farm. That's on the Colston Road. So a good idea. I mean, from the St John point of view, you either go. That's quite a difficult road. So the drivers will have to know either go for Austin Bridge, or you can go. Or there's another way. Actually, it might be easier because actually Austin Bridge is really like that, and then turn left. And then the other way is to go back towards into Buckfast Lee from Buckfast where we are, and then you go past the Butterfly Farm. And it's the second on the left. But a good idea to everyone knows where to go really, because it's. All right, so there's plenty of space there. There'll be a sign there, green sign with yellow lettering on RV actually. The actual, then it starts after that, after the actual Matthew Hicks is here, he's the sector leader of this next section, 6 to 10. That is actually the most rugged section, and it's also quite inaccessible. Again, we've got railway line on the left side, so rescuers can only be, or even people giving up, they've got to come out the right side. And they'll be guided back to River Bridge or Hook Bridge, whatever you like to call it, downstream. If someone had a serious injury, we'll come back to, we mustn't go on the railway line there. Right? Particularly, actually, the only farmer who's possibly a bit dubious about it is about 7. So then it takes us down to River Bridge. We've actually got a problem with a large tree which is just down below River Bridge. So perhaps Richard, do you want to just talk us through the plans for that section?
I think Chaz will be more familiar with the tree.
In Mount Hill, there's a really huge tree on the river right, a big root ball that's covering about half of the river, I think. So it's quite impressive. And it's a line, you've got a root ball facing you as you come down, and then it kind of goes down the river. So, I was down Saturday, it was reasonable water level. There was plenty of water on the left to get past. And there is, people know there's a broken weir there, a bit of a raft when you go around the corner. But this tree is kind of beyond the end of the raft, which is quite nice. I wasn't sure what it would be like, but effectively the water's kind of calmed down by the time you get to the tree. So I think divers will be able to operate there, and we can put kayakers below the rapids but before the tree, so if anybody does come out of the rapid, we can kind of deal with it. So at the level it was last week, I think it's reasonably safe. And looking at the weather forecast, I don't think we're going to get any more rain on it significantly. So I think we can handle it.
There's going to be clips, obviously you'll be taping off there as well, I take it. Yeah.
We'll have a kayaker up above the broken weir to say keep left of the tree down there.
Yeah.
So pre-warned divers and down at the tree.
Okay, right, thanks, Chaz. Well, that point,
Colin, if I could just add to that, we went and visited last Friday when the water had really broken down. And if it had been like that, some race I think would have been cancelled.
Yeah.
So we saw it at its worst, which meant we couldn't actually get to the tree. But 3 of us agreed that with the expected weather, which will be a lot, we propose to have 2 divers, maybe 3 men. But roping off is vital. The right-hand channel needs to be roped off. And as was suggested earlier on, advance your guard up above, making sure that you've got the left-hand side.
okay, actually, I didn't ask, is there no rain out here tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay, that's right, so I wasn't sure they want to come on. Okay, right, well, hopefully we'll rain out in each set. The idea was to have rain out in each. Are you been in communication?
Basically, we deployed the same people we did last year. We have a base station at the Totnes boat house.
Yeah.
We've got a relay station up on the hill somewhere, because as we all know, you can't get radio, phone signals down, Stansted and that one.
Yeah.
So we can cover the whole course.
Where
We have people actually on the river.
Yeah, the plan was really, we were hoping you were going to have like your 5 radios with 5 operators, something each basically.
That's right. Oh yeah.
So what I mean, the plan was to have them at each of these RV points basically.
That's right.
Okay, that's right. As long as that's
After I was at Totnes Weir, I'll probably be at Totnes Weir.
yeah, brilliant.
Okay,
Okay,
obviously we have people at Stansted Weir. There is Weir.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They're the most dangerous section.
Okay, that's fine. Well, that's well, then we go down to Stamford. Actually, after Stamford Bridge, the actual the railway line actually moves away from the bank. So there's the walkway down there. Actually, the checkpoints and recovery, all the injured tired people can get off the left. It's important not to go right there because you can go into there's actually a gated community now there, isn't there? So if you got off to the right there, you wouldn't get out. So the checkpoint's there at 13, checkpoint 13 is important to actually get people off on the left bank. So it takes us down to, we've got a tree which needs to be cut up still, we couldn't get to it last week. takes us down to Staverton Weir, so 14, 15 there. I think about 14 is going to be the extra soup kitchen, right? Mike's here, isn't he? So, yeah, all right. Okay, for soup and rolls.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Then after that, the Staverton Weir will have canoe club and divers there as well. Just want to talk about the divers first, Chaz, there?
Yeah, we'll have 4 divers, certainly at Staverton Weir. They've done it for quite a few years, so they're familiar with it. We don't foresee any problems. Apart from, there is a big trunk perched on top of the weir that definitely needs to be moved. I mean, it shouldn't be at all a problem with the tackle, but it does need to be moved, otherwise it doesn't.
Can I talk to you after that with Chaz? Chaz, do you got that?
Yeah, same again really. Below, and if whatever the diver wants to do, with a couple of boats to again stack the rafts back on.
And we've got to get the tape on because the original Staverton Weir on the right hand side, that needs to be taped off because you don't want to be going down there, so that's to be all taped off.
Yeah, it wasn't last year, was it? It wasn't clearly marked last year.
So we must take that off, Chaz, right? And, that's going to be the canoe club job, really, isn't it? I would say. Right, well, there's going to be divers going to do that.
Well, we can help.
Yeah, okay, all right. Right, then we come down, so after that, it really comes into the Darkington Club, coming down more or less into the Darkington estate, which Simon's just in time for. Simon's the sector manager. Actually, it's quite a remote part of that. Again, from that point on, 16, 17 on, it's, again, railway lines on the left, so all the recovery is going to be from the right-hand side. It's actually it is quite remote. It's a long, quite a long walk from that whole point there. That's a concrete track. That's the way out really. So it's quite a long way. So we've got the ex-tablers there. So I think they pretty well know the score really. That concrete drive. That's another rendezvous point. That is actually locked. We've got keys for that. And yes, that's where any ambulance would have to go down. I'm looking to try and open the bottom gate so possibly we can get in there with a four-wheel drive. It gets very wet there. So again, we must keep off the railway line. Then it comes down to train 22 there, which is the Totnes Weir. So that again we've got the divers on the middle up there, haven't we? You've got the top, aren't you, and guiding people down. Tapes, you've got tapes there as well?
You don't have to do them, obviously, for a long time, you get grass, you bring down the middle.
If they go down on the right-hand side,
The big thing actually is that we mustn't have people going down the salmon chute on the left-hand side. I think that's got measuring, they've got equipment down there.
It's not quite wide enough.
Oh?
It's not quite wide enough.
No, but the discussion actually, did some people last year, are we allowing people down the actual rapping water part next to these concrete walls?
yes, some to go down.
Yeah, okay. Well, that is the most dangerous part actually, but that's about the only injury last year was actually unfortunately it was a canoe club, and we were turned over rather than hurt himself there. But we'll have to watch that because if it's actually, if it's looking, we'll have to use a judgment on that, I would say. Because
it's a state of tide. It's making sure it's hitting it at the right tide. If you get the wrong tide when you come out of the bottom, the kick becomes different. There's two ledges on the wall. Yeah. And when the ledge hits, it becomes invisible.
Right. So what actually, I'd be interested to have some input from people who know about it, particularly. Do you think it's actually safe to go down there or not? The chute.
Depends on the water flow.
Yeah. Well, I think I certainly always used to go down there. It is a fun way of going down, isn't it? But we'll have to use
It's just when the tide.
Nick Wood's going to be there, ex-tabler, so he's up to charge that check.
Well, as I said, guys know about the tide, but there's been some high school tides in them.
Yeah.
I've seen the films flooded by times. It's 6 million times at the moment.
Yeah, about 5 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
So what's it like at the weekend then?
Well, there's a big ledge. The ledge it's about that much of a ledge drop off the
Off
end.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right when it's in, but as
That
soon as
needs
the tide
to
goes
drop.
out, it's a big
Then
drop down.
you'll be
Yeah.
plunging down. Okay. Okay, well,
High
I'll
tides.
go.
Do you
Yeah,
know
we'll
what
have
time
to.
high tide is?
Pardon?
Do you know what time the high tide is?
Well, I think it's about 12, isn't it?
It's about 11.
11.
So we've got a good three hours before, 3 hours after, before we're in 20 tons.
Right, so you should just up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then you got, after that, when obviously the time's in, it's deeper water there, so we'll have to watch out for that. People are tired. Again, that's an RV point, which is the school. Between 19 and 20, there's an RV point there. So, as I said, we pulled, after 4 o'clock, people who haven't got there, we've pulled out. They should be there because it's starting at 9 o'clock. Then it's hopefully plain sailing down, but potentially deep water, down to the finish with another rendezvous point. And that's where our communications is, and I think the St John's will be sort of based there as well, won't they?
Yeah.
So that's the course. Any comments or yeah, John?
Where is the actual finishing line? Because I was there with the microphone last year, and we weren't sure whether it was halfway to Dartmouth or
last year I think it was the bridge actually, and this year where we actually built a bridge again.
Is it as you go into the bridge or as you come out?
It's a photo finish at that point.
I'm not worried about the photo finish, I'm just worried about me looking stupid.
As they come out on the island side of the bridge, I think.
As they come the island side of the bridge, that's the finishing line.
Yeah, and then obviously they've got about 200 or 300 metres then to go before they can get the raft out and turn on.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm telling you, but that's the finishing line.
Oh no, finish it on the bridge.
Right.
Right, my turn to talk about the finish. Very straightforward the finish. Not a lot happens there except that the rafts are going to come out. The rafts will come out on the slip here. The car parking at Long Marsh is for participants and officials only. Everybody else, we have the car parks along the businesses down on Stephen Quay from Speciality Fasteners down. So there'll be car parking there. Obviously the raft trailers will be coming into this car park, picking up the rafts and turning around to go out. We have changing rooms over on the grass on Long Marsh. There'll be 2 tents, large one for male changing and a smaller one for female changing. We have toilets there, and we also have barbecues for feeding the participants when they come out. We also have access to the main room in the rowing club, so that if it's pouring down with rain, people can go up there and take their snack up there and whatever, and sit in relative, comfort. Other than that, I don't really think there's much else to say about the finish, to be honest, at that stage, because they will have, obviously they finish at the bridge, but they will be coming down in order to take out on the slip. The only other thing is that they will have to take everything away with them. Their rafts have got to be taken away. Okay? And yes, John?
On the gate of the road closure for the car parks, will the participants have passes, badges to show, to say?
Yes, they'll have something in their car. Okay, thank you. No? Thank you.
Communications floor of the rowing club, and that number in the centre is the race control main contact. There'll be direct contact, obviously, between the race director will be Colin, who will be mobile up and down the river with race control. They have a separate dedicated number, which we're not publishing here for obvious reasons, so that if they need to talk to each other, they don't lock up the normal line. Rainer, as we've heard, will be within each sector, because certainly the experience of last year showed that many of the mobile phone networks have got little or no coverage along most of the length of the river, so radio communication is absolutely essential. And particularly with the sector managers controlling each of those sectors, as Colin's outlined, we would certainly ask that the RayNet operator and the sector manager get to know each other fairly early in the days, and they know where each other is,
Rail operators will all be wearing a yellow flow trail with radio on it.
Fine.
They're quite, you'll soon know who they are.
And their vehicles are very distinctive with the big thing sticking out the top. But I think that's quite important. So the sector manager has been introduced this year because of the problems with communication last year, because we lost communication along the river. The sector managers will always have radio contact through RainNet with race control. So there's a foolproof, we hope, method of contact. Obviously, mobile phones are still capable of being used. Checkpoint marshals, if you have got a phone signal you need to contact race control, you by all means contact them direct. And Colin will come on to that when we deal with any emergencies. The canoeists and divers have also got telephones. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Last year's experience showed that. But obviously, if they need to contact, they can do it through a sector manager with them through the radio and direct into race control that way. The boats that are going to be down below the tidal section, certainly I've had a conversation with the Dartford Patrol, they'll have VHF, but unfortunately we haven't got a VHF connection, but they will have mobiles and we've got their numbers, so we'll have contact with them. And Dark Sailability, I think, are here, aren't they? Yeah. Perhaps before you go, we can have a mobile number from you as well, and then we'll have mobile contact with the safety boats as well in the tidal stretch. So that's the communication plan. Any questions on that? Okay. Sorry.
Will there be any reporting from one set position to another?
Yeah, it's probably worth it, perhaps at this point, just talking about the role of the checkpoint marshals. The primary duty, the primary reason for the checkpoint marshals being there is one of safety. It's the safety of the rafters that is their main consideration. We do that really in one of two ways. The first way is that the checkpoint marshals check the progress of the rafts to ensure all the rafts that are in the race pass their checkpoint. And they record that and report that back. One of the problems we had last year, because of the lack of mobile phone coverage, many of the checkpoints couldn't actually report in and say they've gone past. Hence, we group them into sectors. So it'll be the sector manager's responsibility. Once all the rafts have passed their sector, to radio that information through to race control and say, right, sector A is clear or sector B is clear. So the checkpoint marshals need to coordinate with their sector manager. That's the sort of primary role. Yep.
Part of the problem that was identified in the rafts when they passed.
Right, they should all have. They should all have, and they'll be again, same as last year, they're being sent a race number and they're being asked to paint that in very big letters on the side of their raft.
That was not always.
Not always clear. But the only thing I can suggest is that you yell at them as they go by, what number are you?
Well, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, slight problem we had last year, and this I think particularly affected the canoeists, there was some confusion about which was the last canoe to come through. Because the idea is that the sweep canoe follows the last raft down, and then at that point the checkpoint marshal knows when everyone's now come through. And if there's one missing, it must be between here and the previous checkpoint. What happened last year, I think some canoeists thought they were the last canoe and they weren't. And we got mixed up, so it'd be really useful if whichever is the sweep canoe has something on it that actually says, I'm the last canoe, or it's got a big red flag or something on it, so that the checkpoint marshals know that's the last one. Right, so it'll be the big two, it was a two-person one, wasn't it, last year? Yeah. Big two-person over the canoe, so that'll be the last one to come down. If the checkpoint marshal sees that canoe come down, and there's still a raft missing, it means that raft's gone missing between the previous checkpoint and them, and that's the point at which to raise the alarm. Okay, so it'll be very, very obvious that it's the last one this time. That brings me on to the second important role of the checkpoint marshal then, which is obviously to react if there is an emergency. Colin will come on to that in a minute, but clearly if something happens within your site, then you'll know it's happened and you'll be able to deal with it. If the raft is missing, and it's not within your site, then clearly the alarm needs to be raised, because we then need to start to conduct a search and find out where it has gone, where has it gone. The checkpoints are around about half a kilometre apart. So there's a sort of 500, 600, 700 metre stretch in which a raft could stop, or something could happen, which might be outside of the marshal. So that's the reason we ask you to check off the rafts as they come through, make sure they're all accounted for, and if one's missing, then raise the alarm, either through the sector manager or direct to race control if you've got communication. Colin will come on in a minute to the emergency procedure. Anything else on the comms or the role of the checkpoints? Mike?
If we can get through on our normal
The sector managers actually they're also covering checkpoints which are in the middle of their cluster, so they won't actually be too far away to walk to. If you have to resort to walking, then that's the only way you're going to be able to do it.
Some bits are not that easy to walk down.
No, I accept that, but either that or move to a position where you can get a mobile phone signal. So that it's not completely blank, because some of the points themselves might be, but 100 metres uphill you'll be able to get a signal. There will be points at which you can get a signal.
I think I know O2 works quite well. I think Orange is the worst.
Orange and EE, I think, are good at useless. Well, we've got five radio operators, haven't we? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, we can't get 30 or 25, one for each checkpoint. No.
Being on the radio, we can hear what's going on down the line, whereas a phone call is literally point to point.
So the radio, if something is happening, the radio operator will be the one that knows.
Yes,
just first to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the radio's there also to report progress.
So I think we do need to know, well, some of it might be some distance from the actual radio operator to the sector manager. Could be quite some distance, couldn't it?
Yeah. So we are relying really either, as we always have been, on moving around until you get the mobile signal, or actually making some kind of physical contact. But we can do no more than that, really. There's no other way of communicating.
Yeah, I think last year there was confusion because no one quite knew what the last, which was the last canoe really. So can they actually, when they go past the checkpoints, can they actually just tell them we are with the last one and there's no one behind us?
You can tell them that you're off their team now.
David, at what point will the marshals know how many laps there are in the race?
Yeah.
What we'll do is on Thursday night when the entries close, at that point we'll produce a list of Raft, and I will email that out to everyone that I've got an email address for. And those that we haven't got email addresses for, on the Sunday morning, Colin will be in contact with them and we'll actually give them a list of a start list. So you'll know exactly how many Rafts have been entered. If that changes, obviously we'll have to get a message out, probably through BrainNet, to say that a Raft hasn't started, or maybe there's been a late entry and one has come in. But that didn't happen last year. I think every Raft was booked in. No, one didn't start, did it? And we got that message out to say that Raft number X actually didn't start.
They don't start in uniform.
No.
Well, they certainly don't pass you.
No, they don't start.
They're supposed to start in
But it was a bit of a melee last year, but this year it should be slightly better organised.
But by halfway down or beyond.
Exactly, they're not going to come through it.
No,
they're not going to come through in numerical order. Some will be going faster than others, some will stop for a bite to eat. So it is a matter of just ticking them off against the list.
At the start of the year, we're going to release them on a first come, first served basis. Won't be releasing local order.
Exactly.
And the other thing I remember from last year is some of the bigger labs could break up. We did, one didn't. One, we had three.
It did. We ended up with 6A, 6B and 6C, I think. All three bits got down though, so that was it. But that's an important lesson actually, because it could have been that half of that never got down, and we need to know, well, there's a half of a Raft missing, so we then need to start the emergency procedure to find out where it is.
Steve, that team has entered again this year, but they've entered 3 Rafts.
Anything else on communications or while we've got anything else on the checkpoint marshal's duties? Is it all hopefully quite clear? Okay, great. In which case, we'll move on to dealing with emergencies and impact to comment.
Basically, I think that's there's a whole risk and possibilities really. So I think it's basically going to walking wounded or more serious injuries really. I mean, where I planned it really is if there was we used to have 10 checkpoints years ago, and I don't think that was enough. So as we talk about someone at each point, we maybe have to think about someone who's got a broken leg really. So as far as the checkpoint's concerned, if anyone looks ill, very tired or cold, we can pull them out. So it's better that someone gets pulled out. And then so we're talking about walking wounded. Someone that's exhausted or cold or tired or fed up. they can come off at a checkpoint. It's really a sort of I mean, the canoe, basically it's the canoe club who are really are the first point of sort of safety really. As the rafts go down, they're going down as sort of a flotilla basically, and the canoe club will go down with them. So there's plenty, I mean, to be honest, we're about 20 canoe club people. So you know, there's a lot of people actually, and so you've almost got one canoe for each raft. But so if anything happens, then the first point is we'll have to discuss is if someone's cold or they've got to go out, want to go out to a checkpoint, because particularly some points along there aren't that many. It's not everywhere you can get out on the river actually, and the checkpoints are positioned, particularly where perhaps Simon is or Matthew is. There's actually only certain points you can get out. So the canoe club are going to have to look for a checkpoint marshal, hopefully having a visibility on, and get out of that point, right? And as I said, I'll reiterate, and I'm not sorry to say, we must be going on the trains are running, and so if anyone actually looks like they even wanted to go out there, they must be stopped, forcibly leaving and to get them out of the way is absolutely vital, because the trains are running. So I think we'll start from the actually the beginning. So we start at the actual Kilburn there, ceremony, not past where. So at that point, no one's going to be tired or cold. But if someone actually did a serious injury there, there are issues about getting them out really, because you've got by the way there, you've got that wall, which is about 8 foot high. We are going to have a ladder there. We are going to have a ladder there, and I've cleared it underneath. So it's just a possibility someone will get up there if they weren't too badly injured. Do you know, Sir John? Do you know that point there? Do you know?
Yeah. What we've done, as we did last year, is we talked to the Ambulance Service Hazardous Area Response Team. So if someone is ill within the water and we have a problem extricating them from the water, they will respond with their units from Exeter.
Okay.
They're trained in water rescue. They have all the equipment for water rescue. They reckon they can get there within 20 minutes. So we will probably, at that particular we will have cover anyway, whether it be first aid point, ambulance, or just the response vehicle. We'll stay there, but obviously from our volunteers' point of view, they're not allowed and not authorised to get in the water at any point because of safety. So it will be a case if we can't get them out of the water, we'll just stabilise them with the guys, the divers and the canoes, and we will get Heart en route. And because I work for the Ambulance Service as well, I have direct contact with Heart. And it may be that they decide for the event that they come and base themselves down and finish with us, with all their gear, because they like to play.
Okay, that's great. So if someone breaks a leg at Kilbury Weir, and they're going to, but the chances are they'll be sort of, we basically bypass the wheel, more or less bypass on the left-hand side. Water does flow over there, but I think on Sunday it'll be dry. There are some potholes there which will be filled in, but if someone actually does break a leg further down, then the first person, the divers are probably the first person to get them, won't they? So what's your plan of action, do you think, at that point?
Well, we've had not that much experience of people breaking legs then. It's really a case of getting the casualty over to the wall. And given that they'll be coming on the left-hand side, that's what we directly. Yeah. It's a short distance. There, the biggest issue is then making sure they're bandaged or pinned in some way that they can be brought up the wall.
Yeah. Can St John, will you be able to get down onto the sort of ground there rather than the water? Yeah. But actually, unfortunately,
there's a technical thing that we're not allowed within 70 metres, but I can't handle an measuring stick.
Yeah.
And it'll be anyway, so and they know me about it. At the end of the day, we'll have to judge it on the day with a particular injury. Heart will be ultimately the answer in where, you know, we can't get close enough. But if we can, with the aid of whoever's there, get them out, then that's the easiest answer.
Well, there's there's going to be a ladder down, which takes you down to the weir. Then after the weir, there's actually deeper water. And then if someone did break the leg, they might drift down a bit further. Then you've really got to go down towards, you've got to head towards Totnes, and then get and then come back up again, up to so basically a little lead actually. So probably a good idea that if you know, St John people have a look at the lie of the land actually, because it's actually quite. I walked up there recently.
It'll probably be me in the response.
Yeah, have a look because it's not easy. It's quite awkward to get someone there. Then there has to be a judgment as to how you get them out, really, but that's you have to make you'll make that on the day where you've got
all sorts.
Yeah.
Helicopters, Land Rovers, the right.
Sorry.
And I'm not paying for anything.
Okay, so that's the that's that section. So once if further on, for instance, someone actually is getting cold, and then they go out say Matthew's section along there. If someone is cold. There's going to be about 4 or 5 people on there. Matthew, you know what to do anyway. Then you just sort of send them down towards the bridge, really.
Basically, the problem is injured and can't walk.
Yeah.
It really isn't accessible, so.
Yeah. Well, there's actually for the St John, there's the above on the top side of Riverford Bridge. There's a gate there, which has got a padlock number, which you'll know. I know it. 2865. Matthew will know it, and they'll know it at the start. It's quite a long way actually. It's actually quite a long way. This is it. That's it here. So it's quite a long section. There's maze, I think, is not cut here. You won't really go any further than maze. So, and to be honest, this section here is a fisherman's track along there. It's actually quite rugged. So it is an issue. It's not the easiest place to get someone out from there. So there's going to be a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You can get so far. You probably can't go any further than the maze. And then it's going to be. Someone would meet you. One of the checkpoints would meet you, I would say, Matthew. It's not very easy to find the point to get in, is it? It's by the shooting sort of point there. But I would say that we have an issue there. Then Matthew probably will have to actually come out and wait for the St John to come along. All right.
Just given that comment about access there, anyone who's just feeling tired or cold, actually, will they not then be better advised to carry on down the river?
Yeah.
They would be, yeah.
Yeah, would be.
Obviously, if you've got any injuries, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Someone just thinks, I want to get out, then we better carry on.
If they can, yeah. Okay, so that just below Riverford Bridge, we've got that problem. Hopefully, there won't be any problems there. Where the tree is below Riverford Bridge. Is across a field down there, so it's not a huge distance actually. And that's at the RV point. RV is a bit indistinct here. The RV point is really going to be up near the Steiner School actually, right? The old Buckfast Road, do you know that? That would be the best place for me. You can't be further on, there's down to River Bridge, there's no space there. And the little lane down into the field, the trials field, where I was talking about where Matthew's units are, it's just narrow and you can be hopeless. So I have a sign there. It's actually the old Colston Road. If you're going towards Buckfast, it's first left after the Steiner School. And there's lots of space up there, so probably just meet there and go down, make sure the gate's open or something, right?
Osborne Park, is that where it says?
Good, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Where it says?
Cattery, there's a sign there. So we've got checkpoints there. So the next issue is going to be if there's a problem at Staverton, which I think probably less severe, isn't it, in a way? But divers there, canoe club above there. There shouldn't be any, but if someone did break a leg at below Staverton, what's the plan there would be to?
Well, last year, the ambulance couldn't really get round here. This year, when we looked at it, looks to be exactly the same situation. So somebody did have an accident, and people who were on the wrong walk. But getting them off the weir is
And the have you got the drivers? They've got recovery qualifications. Have they all?
two of them at Stratton.
Right, yeah. Quite a lot of Killing Club people have got rescue qualifications, haven't they?
Coaches.
Coaches. Okay. Well, it's at least, I mean, it's quite a distance from there. Unfortunately, there's two great boulders there. We can move the bollard, but at least it's actually straightforward walking. It's not from the point of view of St John, actually. So, do you know that section there, the East Hampton?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
We'll be there anyway. We'll be very close to it.
You'll be there.
The only thing is that this year we're not going to bother putting the first aid unit in also because it's quite quick.
Right.
It was sat there and they just got a kick. So, to be honest,
it's not, I don't think,
we don't gain anything by putting
All right, so then you got then after that the water starts to get deeper as we're coming down. I mean, people here in the sort of Simon section they could start to get cold. Probably less likely to get a broken bone there. Again, as I said, really you've got to get out on the right hand side. There's a concrete drive down there that I think actually Jim Goodwin was Simon to be there, but that's the access. Probably quite wet there. Again, it's quite a long walk. Did St John know that area?
Yeah, we covered that quite well last year.
That's an RV point. Right, okay. Then the Totnes Weir, which is access from the road from the school of the lower school there. Again, we had an injury there, then especially going out the water, because I think water could be deep below the weir. Again, I mentioned earlier, we've got rescue boats there. She got question how we deploy them. David, how we deploy the rescue boats actually? There's some there and some further down, possibly towing people later as well.
Yeah, certainly us, the Dermatology Patrol said they're quite happy to tow people if they need to. But their primary duty, obviously, of the rescue boats is to ensure the safety of the raft. So they'll be patrolling between Totnes, we're at the finish, and down to the raft evacuation point, just ensuring the safety of the rafts. Obviously, if there are any exhausted rafts after the finish, but in the last 200 to 300 metres before they can pull the raft out, then it may be possible for the boats to tow them down. It didn't happen last year.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Didn't it? Did someone get towed?
Yeah, I was towed.
Oh,
Towed four. Right, 4 or 5, I think, to the finish. Yeah, we were the only one with water.
Right.
So,
So the canoe club are going to be above the weir to take them, you get them down one at a time. Divers quite important here because there's deep water there, possibly there's more water that could be churning around a bit.
Yeah, should I say on the Totnes Weir, we are aware of each team that come across and we see them quite close to hand. And that's the time and place to evaluate whether people are exhausted. In the past, a couple of times we've had to tell people you need to go. And it's hypothermia is the usual one, and possibly exhaustion. So it is an issue, I think, with Totnes.
Again, and from point of view ambulances and things, it's probably a part of the school and probably walk.
Yeah, the Quebec field is actually the designated landing site for the event, according to the air ambulance.
Oh, land is it?
So that's their main points where they think is best suited for them to come into there.
Okay, yeah.
So it may be that we get them up further on the river, so we'll take it to the
I mean, another point, you obviously further up the field, the trials field there, above the bridge, and that's a good place to land there.
Yeah, they're not.
Hopefully not. Most of the trials are finished. Are there any other comments actually about the sort of in an emergency? I'm sure I've missed something. There's actually quite a lot going on really. But any sort of points I've missed?
The best thing that for our point of view is if you are at a location that you need us to get to, or you're concerned that we're going to be needed, is to get us running, because we could be going to Totnes. The plan this year is to reduce the amount of cover to a better, more reasonable standard rather than having 36 first aiders sat around doing nothing all day. So the ambulance, the conveying ambulance, will probably be bunny hopping with the RRP, which is the vehicle before, throughout the whole event. So if you've got something and we've gone further down, it's easier to get us going, running towards it, and then get there and say, you don't want us, or they've told you to get away in a foreign language you may not understand. I do because I work for the NHS. But, and a grid reference is always beneficial as well, because if we have someone trapped in the water, I think it's serious enough, I will automatically deploy parks en route because of their runtime capacity if they're not with us. So it's quite a good idea to get some good references of where you want, and most.
The checkpoints, I think that actually it might be handy if you actually, if everyone, all the checkpoints know their number, they were probably quite close. I think that probably might be most useful.
Because the aircraft will just work and they'll say, right, the grid reference is in the news.
Okay, what I'll do then, before I will actually plot the grid reference to all checkpoints.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then it just gets a helicopter up.
Yeah.
If we do.
I mean, your comments actually underscore the importance of communication, which we spoke about how to deal with. Obviously, race control needs to know that there has been an emergency. If you'll have an operator at race control.
Yeah, there'll be someone, what this year we'll probably do is stick it beside Raynet, so you've got a better, because last year we sort of had our own control and everything. We're not going to do that this year. We're going to use what you guys have got in, because otherwise communication gets muddled. We end up going to the wrong place.
So and that's absolutely right. Race control are at the centre of this, so they need to know what's going on.
Yeah, I think and the sector manager, the sector controller, Matthew Simon, and the other three Rotarians, right? Yeah. They need to really take charge of a serious incident, really, and I suppose it would be possible for the Raynet, if they know where it was, to sort of get a bit closer if need be. I suppose would it be possible to go closer if need be? Yeah. I suppose that could be all, but it could be arranged if it was needed. Just if the mobile phones were something like that, but if it wasn't, then Raynet would be pretty useful. Anything else? Anyone? Any other questions? I'm sure I can sign very full. Yeah, John.
The weather forecast for the weekend, although it's mild now, the forecast a very sharp fall in temperature. Now, I know the Rotary Club's got several foil rafts. Are they going to be available?
We've got 20 Christmas.
We actually bought some last year. I think we got 100, didn't we?
Yeah.
100.
We got there's plenty of
The thing is never to underestimate hypothermia. It will quickly. So if you've got someone who you believe is hypothermic, and get us running. That's the answer. Really.
So it's really that, when there's an incident, then probably the chance are that maybe the canoe club will have to be there first, and then they've got to communicate. They've got to try and then communicate with the checkpoints, so they can communicate with the central control and get the rescuers in action, really. So, as David says, there's communication. Lots of people there, a lot of experienced people. So, occasionally we have had the odd fracture. We have had a fracture in the past, but hopefully they're not too serious. And you never know, someone can have a heart attack. So I think that's it. If there's any other questions, we'll move on towards the end, really. Oh, no, one more, that's food.
This is the important bit of the whole day. As already been mentioned, 3 catering facilities really. Right at the start, there will be a cooked breakfast available. This will be for purchase for the participants. I've given a fairly ambitious picture of what it might look like up there. I think it'll be a bit simpler than that. But actually, that usually proves quite popular. People obviously have an early start. They want to get some energy into themselves before they go off down the river. So that will be available from about 7:30, 8 o'clock onwards until all the rafts are left. Emphasise that's not included see. However, the soup at halfway, which the Sea Scouts are providing, I've heard someone say that.
Yeah.
There, great. That actually, I think, again, was pretty much universally taken up last year, wasn't it? There weren't many people.
No, the first draft didn't.
Yeah, they were going for a land speed record, I think. They were the ones that were going about an hour and 40, weren't they?
I think it's less than that. Yeah.
And then they started mocking everyone by putting the motor on the back and back up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With an umbrella and some beer in it. They're having a great
On that point, we're going to have, we planning to open the same places last year.
Can we take it further down or take it further up? Because where it was, actually, logistically, it's a nightmare to get into.
Right, yeah. And then I was going to say, last year, can we kind of sort of push people in, didn't we?
Yeah. So,
We didn't realise
wherever
it
we-
was right on top of the weir as well. So
Yeah. There's another section where it's got some vegetation where there's a sort of a slipway, almost like above the concrete with stones there. Down.
that's where we were. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Just
So
in there where they could pull them out.
Probably better back towards Southampton Station, really.
Then they got steep slopes to come out. So it's a bit, it's for them, it's fine. I think for us, logistically, it's a bit not going to get to. We'll deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, as we said, the finish is actually at the Totnes Town Bridge, but they got this then last 200 or 300 metres to get themselves down, get the rafts out. There'll be a barbecue with hot drinks available there, and facilities that if it is cold or wet, we have got the whole of the top floor of the Roman Club there. We've got ample facilities there for at least 40 or 50 people to sit down and dry on the wall to take the refreshments. And as Carol's already mentioned, there are dry changing facilities there as well, which we didn't have last year. A lot of people getting changed in the car park. Luckily it was warm last year, but as John says, it's not likely to be that warm this year. So those facilities are there. Obviously, volunteers more than welcome to help themselves to the barbecue at the end there. No issue there. If you just identify yourself as a volunteer that's helping. All the participants will be given a meal ticket. But obviously, the vast majority of people will be wearing a yellow jacket if you're volunteering anyway, so that should identify you. And obviously there's some like John Andrews crew and everybody else, it's all there available for them. Okay, that's hopefully quite straightforward. Questions? I've got one question.
David, did you say that the start at the breakfast, did you say that was not included in there?
That's an extra that they can purchase.
They got to purchase that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's been made clear as part of the sort of
And do we know what that cost is?
no, I don't offhand. It's not a lot.
I think it's a couple of pounds. It's about a couple of pounds for a roll and.
Yeah, but if we're doing the food, we need to know how much we ought to be charging.
Roger.
I'll liaise with Roger because he's on holiday at the moment.
Yeah, but Roger's coming back by Thursday.
He's back tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll sort it all out. And Roger will be there to set it all up. So there was another question here. Tom?
The finish line, then there will be the actual finish people, where will they be? Down on the grass bank by the bridge on the line?
That's the idea. And then, West Peter, the idea is that there will be a radio link to the public address system, which ideally we want to put on the opposite side of the river.
Right.
So that we'll be able to do a commentary from the island, but it will be then broadcast back over the river, a bit like we do for the canoe race.
I tend to lean over the bridge to see them coming.
Yeah, it's probably best to stand on the island and watch them coming through.
You don't see them until it's too late.
I'm more worried about people toppling over the top of the bridge. Can I just ask one question? Sorry.
Do the checkpoint volunteers report in somewhere? You make sure they're there.
No, we've got a sector manager.
The sector manager,
Okay.
which you're one, I think.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, that's